Hey team, today we're still doing regrouping, but we're going to do mixed regrouping. So you better check that sign very carefully because you might be adding and counting up to get a bigger number, or you might be subtracting and counting back to get a smaller number. Remember that you can always stack to solve or you can expand to solve. And no matter what you do, we have to line up place values and start in the, you better shout ones place. Okay. When we line up place value, we make sure that all the place values, ones, tens, hundreds, are in the right place. You might even label it up above to help you. I could even keep going and say like this would be my thousands place. If I'm going to expand it, I need to do the value of each number. I know 567 is actually 500 plus 60 plus 7. And I know 358 is 300 plus 50 plus 8. Okay, we know we always start in the ones, so I'm going to start in my ones place either way. I'm going to go with the expanded form, and then we'll scoot on over to the stacking. If you are choosing, your most efficient way, that's excellent. Maybe you want to do both for this one because I'm doing it with you. Okay, first we're looking at the ones place, and we're going to read it out loud. So what does it say? Yeah, it says 7 plus 8. So we're looking at 7 plus 8, and we can count up. 8 plus 7 is 15. And when I think about the number 15, I know 5 is in the ones place, and I know that's actually that there's a 10 in that number, and I need to regroup my 10 to the tens place. Regrouping means to put the numbers in the place value where they belong, and in addition, we're putting together smaller numbers to create to move it to that next place value. So like 15 has a 10 in it. We're going to make those 10 ones into the 10 and move it into the tens place because that's exactly what it is worth. Okay, now we have to count our tens place. 60 plus 50 plus 10. Okay, you could count up your tens like 60 and then 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. Don't forget the one you regrouped. 120. Or you can count just the tens place number and stick a 0 on the end. So like 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 1 is 12, stick a 0 on the end, and I still get 120. So you can do whichever way works for you. If you need dots to help, you just draw them and you could be like 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, or you could be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't forget to stick the 0 on the end. Okay, and now I'm going to the hundreds place, but don't forget that isn't a tens number. 20 is. And 120 is a tens number when you're counting by tens. But we know that we can take those 10 tens and move it as a 100 into the hundreds place. So now we have the 20 from the tens place, and we've regrouped the 100 into the hundreds place. So now once again, I can count by hundreds like 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Or I can just count my hundreds and go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and stick those 2 zeros on the end. Now, I don't have a thousands in my answer, so I don't need to regroup. I'm done with this one. And I got 900 plus 20 plus 5. You should be saying out loud what that is. I hope you said 925. Let's check over here. 7 plus 8 is 15. We regroup the 110 into the tens place. 6 tens plus 5 tens plus 1 10 gives us 6, 7 plus 5, 12 tens. And now we put our 100 up here. So we have 100 that we regroup plus 500s plus 300s, which gives us 900s, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's the same over here. So we know it's 925. You can do either way. Now, for the subtraction, we're going to have to count back. We are not adding. We're not going to get a bigger number. We're going to get a smaller number. I'm going to make some space on my board. Maybe you're using your whiteboard. Maybe you're using paper and pencil. But you should definitely be doing this math right now with me, not just watching. You should do it along with me. If you are just watching, go get paper and a pencil when you're done and start the video over while you work with me. These are numbers 1 and 2, so this will help you. Okay, 754 minus 165. You can stack it. Line up your place values, make sure the ones, tens, hundreds, and maybe even thousands are in the right places. And then you can also expand it by doing what they're worth. And I know that on my team, we don't really love to put the plus signs when we're subtracting, but that's totally up to you because it's still correct if you're putting plus signs between. You just want to remember that we're minusing, and you don't want to trick yourself and start adding. Okay, the first thing we're looking at is definitely going to have to be what place. You should be saying it right now at the screen, ones. Every time we add or subtract, we start in the ones. Just like up here, we started in the ones, we're going to start in the ones. Okay, so you're saying out loud, okay, 4 minus 5, that's right. And I know that if I have 4, I don't have enough to take away 5. So I'm going to go to the tens and borrow or regroup. And when I take a 10 away from 50, I have 40 left, right? If I had 5 tens and I took one of those away to break it apart and regroup it, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them left. And then I get that 10 stick in the ones place, and it breaks apart into those 10 ones. Now we're going to have 14 in the ones place because we gave it a 10, and we have 14 minus 5, which gives us 9. In our tens place, because we're moving place values, ones, now tens, we're reading our equation, 40 minus 60. Can I take 60 away from 40? I don't have enough. So I'm going to regroup from the hundreds. If I take 100, I'm going to be left with 600. And I'm going to give 100 to the tens place, turning it into 140, not just 40. And remember, that's going to break apart into 10 10 sticks, right? And now you can see that we definitely have 14 10 sticks and enough to take 6 away. We can take our 6 10 sticks away, and if you don't need them, don't draw them, just count and write it. And we see that we're going to get 8 tens left in the tens place. We had 14 of them, we took 6 away, that gives us 8 left. Adding back up to check, 8 plus 6 is 14. I know 14 minus 6 is 8. Okay, and now I'm looking in the hundreds place. Because I regrouped, I only have 600 left, and I need to take away 100. 600 minus 100 is 500. Or remember, you could say 6 minus 1 is 5, and stick your zeros on the end. Here's our answer, and even when we subtract, this is expanded form, so it gets pluses between. You should be saying what the answer is, because you know what 500 plus 80 plus 9 is equal to. All right, looking at the stacked version, 4 minus 5, we don't have enough. We regroup from the tens. If we take a 10 away from 5 tens, we have 4 tens left. If we put the 10 in the ones place, that gives us 14 ones minus 5 ones, gives us 9 ones. Now we're looking at 4 tens minus 6 tens, and we don't have enough. We can regroup from the hundreds, which leaves 6 hundreds, and we can give the 100 to the tens, breaking it into 10 tens. Now we have 14 tens minus 6 tens, and that gives us 8 tens. And now we're looking at the hundreds. 6 hundreds minus 100 gives us 5 hundreds. 589 either way. Be careful as you do your math. Make sure you're checking your sign. Is it addition and getting bigger counting up, or is it subtraction and getting smaller counting back? Remember, when you're adding, regrouping means to put a number together to move it to the bigger place value. So when we have enough in addition to regroup, we're moving it to the next place value that's larger to keep adding. When we regroup in subtraction, we're breaking apart a number to move it to the smaller place value. So you're taking from a place value and moving it to the smaller place value so you have enough to minus and get your answer. All right, do your best.